Miracle Blood. Guys, thank you. I greatly appreciate you coming to join and chat with me tonight.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
us.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Um, I was just listening to the album and holy fuck, I can only imagine how fun the live show is.
We try our darndest.
Like it's you can't really like pigeonhole it and say it's this one thing. It's just fun, you know?
Yeah, whenever, people ask to describe the sound, we always have a hard time, right? It's such a blend of a lot of different styles, but fun, I think, is definitely a good way to sum it up.
Yeah. It's the best way I know how. Like it's it really reminds me a lot of like what I think Child Bites live show kind of describes your music.
We'll definitely take that as a compliment. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love those dudes.
Hell yeah.
So, you guys are totally new to me. Uh, how did Miracle Blood come together?
So technically, the band Miracle Blood started in 2014 with myself and my friend named Tom, who played drums. But it was like a very kind of slow, just like coming together, jamming, figuring stuff out. And then Garrett joined us in 2016. Tom left in 2022, and that's when Anthony hopped on the kit. And that really feels like it's since then we've really been way more active and in both output and live shows.
Oh yeah. So what's an like an average? How many shows did you guys play this year?
I think right now we're at like 44 or something like that. Last year we had played a little more than 20, so yeah, it's definitely ramping up, and we're hoping this album will take us a lot of new places.
Hell yeah. I think so. So does 2025 look like you're gonna play a lot more shows?
That's the idea, at least.
Yeah, definitely the goal to have that be probably the most shows we played in a year, 2025.
Hell yeah. So are you guys right now planning any like tours anywhere that you can speak of or that you want to speak of?
I don't know if we can really speak of it yet. We can tell you when tours will happen and in general vicinities, but I don't think we can really like announce we're going to be here or there just yet in terms of touring. I know in April we'll be doing a portion of the United States, and then in the summer we'll probably be doing a much larger portion of the United States.
Very primordial
Okay.
stages right now for the tour planning.
Oh yeah, I totally get it. That's a very general area of vicinity somewhere in the US. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit. I was hoping we'd at least get like the Midwest or Southwest or whatever. But whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
when it's planning tours, it's like sometimes you have
yeah,
the plan and it has to change. So that's why we're not quite announcing it until it's set.
yeah. No, I totally get that. What, you know, since hold on, since the release, has it been released yet?
It's releasing on Friday, Thursday night at
Okay,
midnight, technically.
that's right, the 15th. Do you guys have like any goals or like thresholds that you want to meet with it aside from like going out and touring more?
I would love it if people listened to it the whole way through.
Yeah, I'm with them on that. Like, I don't even care if you buy it. Like, obviously, we'd love that, but it's just one of those albums. We really feel like it was, all killer, no filler. We think
Yeah,
each song stands on its own, and the way it tracks, we feel like is pretty cohesive. So, definitely, yeah, I want people to check the whole thing out.
It's
I'd
not
have
a,
to
I
go
was just
ahead.
gonna say it's not a super like original thing, but we're all big fans of like the album itself as an art form. So it was very much something that like with intentionality we approach this like make this like one album that like kind of stands on its own and is like a cohesive work of like music.
Yeah. But I think that's why I really like to focus on lesser known bands because they do more of them have the whole album, right? The all killer, no filler. It's great from start to finish, and it's they're not focused on one single, like, oh, this single's gonna catapult us into stardom or what have you. Speaking of the album, is there a song that you guys that each of you like more than maybe another song on there, or that you think stands out a little more?
Kind of changed, I feel like.
All right.
Elaborate, Garrett.
So like I mean when we like first started like tracking and like recently like I was like 100% like Lobotomizer, that is like the song. But like as time has gone on, I think my favorite might be Prepare for Breakfast now.
What a great track to end the album.
Thank you. Yeah, I can get behind what he's saying as well. I don't think that there's any one that stands out. I think I have my like handful of favorites, but it's also weird when you're writing. I feel like a lot of the tracks that kind of came together later in the album, we didn't have like I guess when we wanted to record, we didn't have as much grasp on them as some of the ones that have been kicking around for a while. So I think some of those have grown certainly on me since completing the album and then playing live and then going back to listen to it. But I think the title track I really dig. There's also one on there called Pets and Owners that I think has a lot going on in it.
Definitely.
Yeah, for myself, I like the title track because I like that just kind of slow, punishing, heavy riffage, and then I like Rather Be Nothing a lot too, because it's got a little bit more of a thrash feel. It's fast and pretty chaotic.
I think you all have like it's cool to hear that each of you like different aspects, but a couple in the same. It's neat. For me, like Phenomenon and Ghosts really like stand out. The guitars in those like grab me every time I listen. I'm like, God, I really fucking I really enjoy how the song is structured and how the guitars are fucking played throughout. I'm like, God, it's so fucking good.
Thanks so much. It means a lot to us.
Um, how many albums have you guys put out?
This is number two for us.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
was
it's
the
interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just gonna say it's interesting because like the first album was a compilation of, a lot of the material they had previously released. Um, so coming in when I joined them, they had like a couple of these new songs ready to go, but I was, which what I contributed, I feel like just kind of ended up working out pretty quickly. Like we just had the chemistry almost right away. And for me, this is the first album I recorded, so it's like it just really special, not only in that regard, but to, knowing how much work we all put in, like Wong writing, 99% of the parts, and like me and Garrett, having our input when needed and bringing some different ideas. But it's just cool to finally have it be coming out now because we recorded it in April of 23, so.
And like Anthony said, this the other album was a little bit more of a compilation, so this is really like our first like album that I would say is like one cohesive thing made with intentionality, whereas like not shitting on Melter by any means, but it was very much a like, well, we have all these songs, we can just put them together. And like there was work in putting them together. It wasn't as simple as just like drag and drop it into a CD or anything like that. But like this definitely it feels very different than releasing Melter did. This feels like much more of like an accomplishment and like a momentous occasion.
Yeah. So you guys went into this and said, "Hey, we're actually going to write an album and record an album." versus just, hey, look, we have all this shit, let's do it, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I need it dumbed down because I'm not very smart. Uh, I, s- I don't know. My brain's fried. Too many years of work, I guess. Uh, who did the artwork on the album?
I did the artwork.
Hell yeah. What was going on for you when you did the artwork?
So the art was kind of like a struggle for us. We went through like a bunch of different ideas, different drafts. Um, so I think at the end of the day, we really wanted it. Number one, number one thing that we all agreed on first was that it needed to be red because it's called Hello Hell. And then uh, we wanted it to kind of be simple in a way, but also convey a lot of the feelings in on the record. So there's a lot of like anxiety, a lot of kind of like dread about future and things like that. Having the skull with the brain on fire, it felt like it worked. This is actually the same exact like source material I used for the last record too. So in terms of the skull, so it like worked out that it was like a just a new variation on what we had done with the last record, but it still looks completely different. So um yeah. I don't know if you guys had anything else you wanted to add to that.
Well, I was just gonna say, like you said, it took some time to figure out what we wanted, and I've said to them before, I'm a guy where I don't like to have a lot of options, so it's just tough when you're like, yeah, this is gonna be the thing that's on the record, you know what I mean? Gonna be on all these pressings, so it's like you want to make sure it's the thing. You don't want to be like settling for something.
I think it's almost like a lost art, like people thinking through like every detail of the album, because I guess with the bigger bands, or I feel like with the bigger bands, there's so many hands in it. They're just like, yeah, whatever, do it, move on. Um, so being able to touch every aspect of it and lay it out the way you want it, and like you said, make sure it's the art you really want to represent the album itself. That's a really important fact. Especially like I'm older, so like going to the record store for me when I was a kid, it was, oh, this album looks really cool. I need to buy that. I want to know what that sounds like. Um, so fucking cheers to you guys for like taking the time and actually doing that yourselves.
Thank you.
How do you feel like putting the album together was for you, for all of you, like collectively? Do you feel like it went pretty easily, or did you struggle through like aspects of it?
It came together really easily, I think. And like, not to say there wasn't a lot of like work that went into it. But I feel like once Anthony joined the band and we started like hitting or like a writing groove, and then we kind of like booked the studio time with like not all the songs were in, and we were kind of nervous about that. And then it wound up just showing up every week, working on it, and we were just like quickly, at least by the former Miracle Blood standards, very quickly like moving through everything. And obviously, like it's not like we just like wrote the song, it's done. There's always like the like tweaking and workshopping all the little flourishes that some people probably won't notice, but like we know they're there. And but yeah, like it felt very natural. And it flowed really well. And this is broader than just the album, but I think that we're very, very fortunate that the three of us get along really well, and we all kind of are on the same page and have the same like mission and goals and ideas of what our end product should look like. So like there really isn't a lot of tension or like kind of creative differences that like crop up.
That's super cool. Uh, I think that's I feel like that's rare within bands. There tends to be, especially when you're writing under a deadline of, hey, we're going to be in the studio here. Um, tensions are gonna rise. So to almost have none of that, that's that's pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's you can go
No,
on.
no, go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like Garrett said, it's just luck is such a factor. Like, I happen to meet these guys just at the right time. Like I randomly one day was like, let me see what's on Craigslist. I hadn't checked in a while. And like funny enough, I had seen these guys play before a couple years earlier. Um, but yeah, just to have people that are, like Garrett said, down for the mission. Like, there's a lot of people that like the idea of being in a band and like they like being on stage, but they don't necessarily like going to practice or doing all these other things that take a lot of time. So it was just reassuring to be like, all right, we got to go write these songs, we got to practice. Like, all right, there was no complaints or anything. It was just, this is what we have to do. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Yeah. That's funny. It's funny how things work out, seeing them a couple years ago, before, and then like, oh shit, let's be in a band together. That
I am,
what
yeah, I was going to say, I'm a true believer in the power of the universe. If you put things out with the right intentions, I think it's going to work out.
hell yeah. I do too. And even if you don't put them out with the right intentions, like whatever's supposed to happen is gonna fucking happen.
I'm
I'm a
with you.
Craigslist acquisition as well. I mean,
Oh, I like how you put that, a Craigslist acquisition. I mean, there are a lot more seedy things that happen on Craigslist. He took me out for dinner and now I'm playing in his band. I don't know what's going on.
Seriously, though, you don't know what you're going to get into on there.
Shit. That is you don't know what you're gonna get into if you're like hanging out with him at practice. You're like,
Yeah, you guys could have walked into anything,
right.
opening up that practice room door.
I think it just shows you, hey, we wanted something bad enough, right? That the music was missing and we needed to find it. So
Listen, if you guys plan on taking on a fourth next, when that fourth person you're auditioning shows up, you've got to wrap the whole room in plastic and leave little like red paint splatter somewhere.
I mean, there's probably enough like red paint splatter just around from like the videos we've done there and stuff like that.
Yeah, like sorry, the last couple didn't work out. I hope you do. Playing with knives or something. Like, what the hell?
lock the door.
Ah, shut out the lights. Do do do. Uh, like, so for you guys now, let's say you get to a point where you consider make it, right? Whatever that means. Is what does that look like for you guys?
I mean, me personally, like I think we were just taking it one thing at a time. And like I said before, like I'm happy if people are like listening to our music. I mean, even up to this point, it blows my like, I've played music, created original music for like almost all my life at this, practically speaking. So, and for majority of the time, the vast majority of the time, nobody gave a shit about the music that I was making. Nobody really nobody cared. So the fact that anybody has been listening to us, when we put out our last record, the fact that it got, it was a small audience, but the fact that it got the response that it got has still kind of blows my mind. So it's just for me, it's like take it as it comes, be happy with just the fact that you got something out there that you're proud of, that maybe people are enjoying. It seems like people are enjoying the songs that have been put out so far. So um, that's great. And I would also love to be able to play to new audiences, go places that we haven't been before, and of course see some folks that are further away that we would love to see again.
Hell yeah. So where are you guys based out of?
Boston.
Boston. Good old Beantown.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like half of it is like it's really sick for music because there's a lot of places to play. There's a lot of great bands and stuff, but that's also what makes it hard too to get people out to your shows sometimes because there's just so much happening, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really a good thing about independent music is there's so much now. I feel like more now post COVID than there was, pre-COVID. Like, so I'm in Louisville, which is not a it's we're not a huge market, but man, there's probably three shows going on tonight. I'm like, man, it'd be fun to go to, but being old and having responsibilities is not a lot of fun.
We love Louisville. We stopped there this past summer at
Highlands Tap Room, Metal
Yes,
Monday.
Metal
yeah,
Monday. Yep.
yep. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was cool. I mean, the fact that you have, the dude from our label was like, Greg, he was like, yeah. I was like, so Monday night, should we just not play? Because like it's kind of hard. He's like, no, in Louisville, there's a spot. It's gonna be fun. And he was not lying. It was a fun time. The people came out. We had a blast.
Yeah, that is a built-in crowd at Metal Monday. Like same people all the time. And I know a lot of people, it's Monday. I know, come out, have a good time. You're gonna like be like, what the hell is going on? Real sometimes it gets real rowdy in there. There was one band kept setting up their merch table and they'd get a pit going, in the tiny room and the merch table's getting turned over. It's like just move it out of the room, dude.
Yeah, it's a tough room for a proper pit.
Hell,
But
yeah.
but it's an awesome spot.
Yeah, we've got a couple of places like that. Like Mag Bar is a real fun little place to play. Um, Same thing there, it's almost like a built-in crowd and it's a larger venue, probably. I think it's like a 85 cap room where like Highlands Tap Room is like 50 max, I think.
Shout out to Joe Grudge. We played with them.
I
Uh,
love those dudes.
yeah, they're awesome.
They're in the studio right now, I think.
Yeah, I actually was just talking with Nate. I'm gonna get them on, get Joe Grudge on.
Oh yeah, we stayed with Nate when we were there. So
Oh,
shout out
right
Nate.
on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Way to go, Nate. I hope you're watching this, fucker. Um, did he turn you on to his other band, Ohm?
Boom.
Did. Yep. It's sweet. Yeah, we
Yeah,
stayed up probably way too late just talking music with him. And
Stone.
Stone, yeah. He's
hell
awesome.
yeah. Such is the case, right? Especially when you're doing this. It's like, what else do you have to talk about but music? I mean, the best thing in the world.
Absolutely.
So, you guys planning on coming back to Louisville?
I don't see why not.
We'd love to.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
we had the South was awesome, dude. We hit a lot of places there on our last tour, and I don't know, dude. Like even there, it's just like, up here you might get like a drink ticket or something from the bar, but there they're like beers are on us. You can get a little bit of food too. Like have at it. It's just like the Southern hospitality is real. It's a real thing.
Well, I think it's because we've been a like a dry desert for so long with like touring bands, like shit bands want to come through. What do you want to do? Like you need a handy, like whatever. We're good. We got you, man. Yeah. Uh, it's cool though that you guys had that experience, coming down to, I mean, I guess it's the South. I think we're still Midwest, but whatever it is, not the Northeast, to go to another region and have a really good experience and be treated well. Because I mean, I'm sure you guys heard all the fucking horror stories about bands going places and people essentially shitting on them like we're not going to pay you, do whatever, just get out of here.
Yes, definitely have heard some stories. Happy that and thankful that that has not really happened to us thus far, knock on wood.
Yeah, hope it doesn't.
I
We're
mean,
gonna
yeah, even we got our van like right before we went out for this tour, and that shit happens all the time too. People breaking into it and stealing gear and stuff. So yeah, you always kind of got to be on a little bit of extra guard, you know. We even know
Yeah.
someone like they were loading out and their cabinet was on the sidewalk, I guess, and someone just swooped it up. Like, you know, it can even happen just like that.
Like a
Yes,
412 cabinet. How do you run away with that fast? But apparently it
Muscles.
happens. Yeah.
or a couple people, one on each
Yeah.
side,
Yeah.
right? That's wild. That sucks for, I feel bad for any band that's out there touring and someone breaks in and steals their shit or just, you know, steals their shit, period. That's a fucking nightmare. It's almost
Yeah,
like being in the desert and someone stealing your car. You're like,
I
what
mean,
do I
that's
do?
the thing, dude. It's like, especially for certain equipment, you know, a guys might have like a 1976 guitar or something like this or that. It's not like you can just replace that
Yeah.
thing, you know. It's and it's expensive, right? So it just puts you in a really tough spot. So
And there's also just
Yeah.
like sentimental value to your gear. I mean, like, look, like someone like Jack My Pedals, I'd be very unhappy. But like, if someone took like, even though I could buy another like version of the bass I have, I've had it for so long that like I've just got an emotional attachment to it. I'd be very upset if someone took that.
Yeah. But I think those instruments, you play them, you connect with them. It's almost like they have a soul too, right? Like if a new one is just not the same, not at all, motherfuckers. Quit stealing fucking equipment. It would be so easy.
Yeah.
So, like, I know you guys haven't played like a million shows, but like out of the places you played, is there a place that sticks out as like your favorite place to go and play, or maybe a city or something?
Really tough to say. I think on the last tour, we loved Richmond, Virginia. We had a great time. Um, Athens, Georgia. We had a really great time there. We've had some awesome times in Ohio,
And
Kent,
especially,
Ohio,
uh,
Columbus, Ohio. Um,
I love Rochester.
oh man, Rochester, New York is awesome. Absolutely. Troy, New York is awesome too. There's so many sweet scenes throughout the country. That's one of the best parts about doing this is like you show up and you don't know what to expect, and sometimes it's just awesome, and the people there are just, like we said, we've had very good luck, and we've met some very awesome, friendly people all over the place. But there are some places that are just like special that got a cool scene going on where it's really like a community and people come out and really take part in it. And so those places are always awesome to stop at.
Oh yeah. It's always fun seeing the locals come out and like support the touring bands. Because sometimes it's like they just don't show up and you're like, it's the band and the bartenders. Woohoo. You know?
yeah, what's kind of crazy is that a couple of these spots we've had repeat people, you know, like we played Scranton pretty recently in that area, and there was two kids that saw us last year and came out. So it's just like it's cool. Like I said, you know, there's a million bands out there, so to really resonate with someone, it means a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's how it's done though, right? Like get out there, you grind it out and you play places a few times and shit eventually you're like you show up and you're like, "Oh man, like 20 new people showed up and we still had, 20 or 30 people from the last time we were here." It's like that's cool. And it becomes friends and they're like your tour family. You just get out and you're like, "Shit, John, what's up? Oh man, Stephanie, whatever." You know? God, such good
Right.
times.
John and Stephanie rule.
Yeah. Thanks, John and Stephanie, whoever the fuck
Shout out,
you
John.
are. Yeah.
It's like you're saying though, you know, like in a couple weeks we're gonna do Virginia and North Carolina. And you know, from a driving perspective, it's not ideal, right? But we look at it how you're saying it's an opportunity to go to these places, and put our music out there. And I think none of us take for granted, any opportunity to get on stage, and we know these are the things we want and need to do to, expand and continue growing. So, yeah, we always look forward to it. No one's sitting in the van like dreading the whole time, it's like we're ready to play.
Hell yeah. Well, that's the way it should be. And, kudos to you guys for being in a position to take those, those longer, non-economical like drives to get the music out there. I mean, that's I think for a band, for smaller bands, that's one of the hardest things to do is say, oh, and know we gotta drive 10 hours to get to our first show, but we do that and we play another show and then it's 12 or 14 hours home, but shit, we've got to do it. We've got to get the music out there.
Yep, that's you just described how what we're gonna do in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Actually just like a week. But yeah, I don't know. It's like also like we don't always get the I can think back to not too many years ago where I was like, if we could get any out of state show, we would have been like, thank you. We would play on like a Monday night. And now it's like we have the opportunity to on a weekend go, cross several state lines to go play, multiple shows. So we're just grateful for that, and don't want to overlook that. That's as much as it is a grind, it is also a privilege to do.
100,
Absolutely.
100%. That's, that's another aspect that I think a lot of people don't realize. They're like, I'm in a band. I should be able to do everything. Like, when did you start? What have you done? What's going on? Um, it's one of those things. Like, I feel being in a band is one of the things that um, most echoes the sentiment, like you get out of it what you put into it. You know, you've got to grind your ass off for it to be worth anything. And
Absolutely. And
even
I
go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna say, with like social media and stuff now, I think it's easy for like bands or people to get discouraged because maybe you see this band that like got lucky or something. Like it looks like they're not trying, but they just happen to blow up. Like that happens, right? But I'm more of the ilk of what you're saying, where, putting in the work is really where it's worthwhile and you learn so much from it. And I just think there's more longevity in that, like some people blow up and then that's that. They had like a song or two and then they die off. Like they maybe weren't ready for the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and you say I know a lot of bands that were out there grinding for 10, 12, 14, 15 years and then they blew up and everyone's like, "Man, that was an overnight success." Like, hell yeah, it was. It only took us 15 years to get there, like
Yeah, it's like, oh, you mean you found out about them overnight.
yeah.
They've been here the whole
Yeah.
time. You just nobody knew about it.
Yeah. It's so hilarious. I mean, how many bands are out there like, dude, we sold like 2,000 records last year. That's so fucking awesome. And then the next year, it's like we sold 500,000. And everyone's like, dude, they just happened to blow up. Like, did they? They were out there fucking grinding and kicking ass to make it happen.
Absolutely.
What kind of variants do you guys have of the physical media for Hello Hell?
We got a lot of variants. We got it on LP, vinyl. It's like a we I asked, can we put it on uh blood on bone? So we got like it's like a white ivory vinyl with like splatters of red on it. And then we have clear red cassettes, and then we also have CD.
All right. So only one vinyl variant,
Only one vinyl variant, limited edition.
limited edition.
I think there is like 250 total pressed.
Those are the words my wallet hates to hear. Limited edition. Because I'm like, give me one of those motherfuckers. How with the last album, like, did you guys put that out physically?
We did kind of like we did not know how it was gonna go at all. We were just like, let's put this out. As we mentioned, it was a kind of like a compilation that we remixed and remastered to make into an album. And I think we like had CDs made at first. And then it started to people were interested in it, and we were like, maybe we should put it on vinyl, and we did a very limited run of 50 and we sold out of those a lot faster than expected.
Oh
So
yeah.
then we did another run where we got it on like a different color and yeah, so yeah.
Hell yeah. That's good. Hopefully you have the same oh shit moment with this album, goes out and you're like, oh fuck, we gotta repress.
Can only hope.
Well, you say hope, but you guys are out there, doing the grinding to make it happen. So it might take you 100 shows to sell 250, but maybe it only takes 10 shows.
Yeah, hope and grind. That's the
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the motto.
Hope and grind. That's the name of the next album.
Yeah,
Hope and
exactly.
grind. Gonna be some chick named Hope riding a skateboard on the fucking rail.
Hell yeah.
Now we've got John, Stephanie, and Hope. Way to go, you three.
Fair.
Okay, guys. I don't know about you. I've been up since 3 this morning. I'm pretty exhausted. I greatly appreciate you guys taking time out to come and chat with me about Hello Hell and the band and what you got going on in the future. I really hope to see you in Louisville sooner rather than later.
We would absolutely love to come back to Louisville, and we'll hit you up if that's the case or when
Thank
Hell
that's
you for
yeah.
having us.
yeah,
Hell
thanks so
yeah,
much for having us.
for sure.
Thank
I
you, man.
will
We appreciate it.
absolutely, dude. I fucking love these conversations because I love learning about new bands and hopefully we can drive some more people to you. I will probably be pre-ordering the fucking record now.
That
Limited
means so
edition.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hell yeah. You guys go and have yourselves a great night.
You too, man.
Thanks, you
Thanks.
too.
See ya.